last time we left off, uh, you all making your way out of the basement back up to the main floor, finding the key to the front door of the asylum, made your way out into the storm, finding the snow falling outside, making your way down the hill with just a couple of hiccups, eventually getting chased over to the staff building near the front gate of the compound. Making your way inside, you searched for something to barricade the door with, but were not able to find anything. Eventually heading into the first of two doors in the hallway, you found yourself in what seemed to be the guard check-in location in the building. Before the last failed roll was made as a reminder for both you all, myself, and all the viewers. The truths that were set up in the last scene were the building's generator is low on fuel, which, remember, the generator is an outdoor generator powering the building. There is furniture in the building to burn, and you hear the sound of shattering glass from the second floor, followed by a scream. So, Lily, Bruce, and Mitch, you are all heading into the guard room and taking a look around. There's a small table to one side with a couple of chairs. There are lockers on the far wall of the room. The room itself has a number of windows that kind of line the back wall and the wall to the right on the outside of the building. Kind of up towards the top half of the room's ceiling, all of which are broken out, the snow occasionally blowing inside the room, more importantly letting in the unnatural chill from outside. Taking a more of a look around, you see over to one side there's, up on the wall, frosted over what seems to be a card punch machine, as well as a tray set up on the wall next to it with what seem to be numerous time cards still tucked away in the little pockets. There are a few small counters on the back wall that seem to have cabinets. But as you're all kind of just piling into the room, taking a look around, Mitch, you flip the light switch for the room. It flickers on, but it's flickering in and out. It's dim. You can hear the generator outside the building whining, struggling to maintain the power in the building. And as you all make your way into the room and begin looking around, kind of taking all of this in, you hear from up on the second floor the sound of glass shattering, wood cracking, and a high-pitched scream.
Let me think.
I'm trying to figure out what Lily would be doing.
Mitch will turn to Bruce. Seem to know about a bit more about this area than the rest of us. Which of these doors leads to the stairs?
Bruce, you would know that if you head into the kitchen through the archway at the far side of the hallway that you were just in, and then turn to the left, go through the kitchen, and through another door, you'd be in a small back entry lobby type area that has stairs leading up to the second floor.
Well, shifting my shoulder, which was either burnt or frozen, maybe both.
Freezer burn.
Yes, it started off
That's
as an iced handprint on your shoulder that the cold from it continued to kind of seep through your clothing, leaving a freezing burn handprint on your shoulder that slowly has begun to spread. Doesn't feel good.
What was I saying? Something.
You're going to tell us that there's a back room near the kitchen or something, right?
Yeah,
you
that
were gonna
sounds
tell
right.
us about
Right.
that?
Yeah, it's this way.
Well, I was just thinking, any chance we might have a better way of blocking whatever's getting in here out from there, possibly. Plus, hey, it's a kitchen. We might find some knives or something.
Yeah.
Food would be nice too.
I'm hungry.
Right. This way.
Sorry to jump in, just a reminder for Lily. When you were all running to the building, you did successfully manage to make your check for the dire encounter.
Yeah.
You did lose your ring of keys with the pocket flashlight.
Yeah, so I was thinking, you know what? While they're talking, Lily walks over to one of the cabinets, or one of the lockers, to search them.
Okay.
That's
Go ahead.
probably a good idea.
Probably not a
ahead
great
and
idea.
make
Do
me-
it.
Make me a roll.
So we're at 4, correct?
You're at 4 dice.
You're at who knows how many.
I believe it's the
Oh,
inverse.
wait. 1.
of-
I still
You
got
have-
my hope die.
You do have a single dice, so yes, roll your hope.
Oh,
And, you know what? I don't even have to work hard for this. Lily greedily runs to the locker. So that would be 1 dice, correct?
it's a nice, easy vice to use. Yeah.
Yes, and you did roll a 1 on your hope die. So go ahead and re-roll the first dice, and then re-roll your hope die.
Fuck you, Whirl 20.
Ah.
Situation is going to quickly spiral out of control.
Now
Yep.
I will say, keep in mind, it doesn't really pertain anymore because a candle is going out. That was quick.
Sorry, guys, I had to do it.
Let's do this.
After all, Lily is greedy.
Mhm.
Let's do this. 1 hour session. That's it.
Ah.
Let's do this.
My invisible vice left. I guess it was tied to the candle somehow.
Wait, what?
Yep, it just disappeared right when you deleted the candle.
Wait, is it back now?
Nope.
I
I have
Candles are screwing with us.
no clue.
Cursed
They
Roll
are
20
still-
game! Cursed Spooktober horror game!
Oh,
Ghost in the machine.
Yeah. Oh my god. But
it
just
makes me think
so
it's gonna
you
go
do
bad.
know, if you had managed to successfully make that check, even if you hadn't re-rolled, and you had, say, rolled a 6 in your initial 4 dice, and rolled a 1 for your hope dice, You do not lose your hope dice to a natural 1 roll like you do the dice pool.
Isn't the only time you ever lose your hope dice is when you fail your brink roll, in which case you lose both the brink and your hope, and then you go completely insane?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure I remembered that correctly. Not that I wouldn't needed to, because I know you would have explained it.
Alright. Lily. As Bruce and Mitch are talking, trying to figure out the best way to get upstairs, what their plan of action should be in the here and now in the building, you remembering you lost your light, lost the keys. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. You run over quickly to the lockers, trying to open them. The locker doors rattling, but not opening. You're trying your hardest to pull them open. Unfortunately, the locker you're trying seems to be, whether it's locked or jammed, you're unable to open it. As you're attempting this, you can hear the thin sheet metal of the locker rattling and clanging as you're jostling it. The wind from outside begins to pick up, and you can hear from beneath the windows a light scratching beginning to echo. Something unnatural, given that as you were running over here, you didn't see any sign of trees or bushes next to the building. Before you see a very pale hand in the light kind of reach over the edge, ignoring the broken shards of glass in the window frame, and an expressionless, featureless face peeking over before it disappears back down below the windowsill. As a candle goes out, and the world gets a little bit darker. So, for these truths, we start with Kitsune, and then it will be Taylor, and then that's it.
What would be a good one? Everything glass breaks.
Okay.
That includes windows.
Alright.
I'm gonna say on the way to the kitchen, we find the guards. Or what's left of them.
Alright, can I narratively tell that as like in the right inside the kitchen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just because the way to the kitchen is back into the hallway you were just in, and then down the hallway that you've already seen down.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay.
Wait, we're not
Alright.
going to do We Are Alive.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. 3, 2, 1.
And we are alive.
And we are alive. Hey,
Perfect.
me and Taylor were almost in sync.
No, you weren't.
No, you
You're
were
not
closer to
close.
ill.
Not on my end, you were.
Touche. On my end, it was.
Lag. Right, well,
As you all, Mitch, Bruce, as you both watch Lily run over, begin jostling, you all hear the scratching, and look up to the broken windows, seeing this figure beginning to climb up and then disappearing down. Knowing that, from what you've experienced, there shouldn't be anyone outside, you all quickly make your way out of the room. As you close the door behind you, you can hear from the room across the hall, from over in the kitchen, and from somewhere upstairs, the sound of shattering glass echoing through the house. Remind me, does only Mitch have a flashlight, or do Mitch and Bruce both have a flashlight?
I got one from the previous guard center.
Okay.
Yeah, and Taylor and Mitch still has his,
and the one battery, I believe.
Okay.
which you already put in, didn't you?
Yes,
I don't
you did.
remember, but let's
You
say yes,
did.
because that's the easier default.
You did, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Yes, it's should have a little bit more juice in it. Maybe.
As you all walk back into the hall, quickly beginning to make your way over towards the kitchen, the sound of glass shards raining down onto the floor. You hear a creaking and a cracking coming from your hands as the surface, the faces of the flashlights begin to crack and crumble away. You can see the bulbs inside of them. One crack, then another before they shatter. The lights in the hallway, the lamp that's on the front entry table, as well as the hanging light above. Also, you can hear a creaking from them before glass begins to rain down on top of you, throwing you all into darkness. As you make your way quickly trying to get upstairs, heading into the kitchen, you can see on the far side of the room a long counter, a big double basin sink, kind of reflecting in what little light there is still, coming from the now sparking light fixture. A long countertop, big table in the center of the room. And you can see sitting at the table, just upright in their chairs, what look like 3 individuals. As you get closer, calling out quickly to them, you don't get a response. You can see, as you approach, the very recognizable uniform of guards. However, as you approach, try to shake one of them, their head just kind of rolls and lolls to the side. They're cold, they're frigid, and they're pale.
Well then, I don't think they'll have any more use for any of their equipment. It might help us though, so I am going to search their bodies.
Alright, you're going for your moment.
Yes.
Yes, I believe in you.
Alright, go and because you are a GM and an accomplished storyteller, go ahead and tell us kind of what you're doing and how finding equipment on these guards' bodies is going to bring back hope.
Alright, well, firstly, Mitch will feel much better if he can somehow get a hold of a weapon. He doesn't know how much it'll help, but there's that. Secondly, a lot of guards in asylums have non-lethal weaponry, and so he's kind of hoping that maybe he can get like a taser or something that'll give some extra light, even if it's useless as a weapon.
Okay.
Also kind of hoping that they might have a flashlight that hasn't cracked, though given everything in the building, that's unlikely.
I totally forgot about that when I said all glass would break.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot, Kitsune.
I'm sorry, but as soon as I realized that, I just started laughing when I realized just how badly I screwed us over.
Oh,
And-
I had to mute myself when you said that.
Yeah.
I thought because the last one, I was stupid and I let, as if I was Lily, choose the truth. So I had to make up for it. So sorry, not sorry.
He's also willing, given that the bodies are cold anyway, and it is a kitchen, so he may be able to find a knife and shred some of their clothing to try and make some sort of like rudimentary torch.
Alright, go ahead and roll for it. You have 3
Moment of
D6.
truth.
I am sending you positive vibes.
Ooh.
That's a hard no.
No. Oh boy. This is
Not
gonna
enough
be a
positive-
very
Not
quick.
Not even an hour in and 2 candles down.
Yep, and that gets rid of my moment as well, right?
Yes, so rushing
There goes your
over.
hope.
Yeah, rushing over to the bodies of these guards. You begin frantically searching for anything that might be of use. A kitchen knife, a flashlight that might not be broken, a taser. Reaching out and touching the shoulder of the guard as you begin to search, the first thing you notice is that their clothing is frozen, rigid, stiff on their bodies. You do manage to find flashlights on their persons. However, much like your flashlights and all the other lights in the building, the bulbs and the glass faces have cracked and shattered. Unfortunately, none of them do seem to have a taser on them, from what you remember. There may be tasers in the building, but they would probably be back in the locked storage lockers in the guard's office, and try as you might, you're not able to find any keys on their persons. You do find a knife. Taking a look at the scene a little bit more, it almost looks like these guards were all sitting here eating. A couple of them have silverware in front of them. One of them still has a fork in their hand, but it's frosted, it's frozen to their rigid flesh. And the knife that you find sitting on the table seems to have been frozen, almost superglued to the wood. As you kind of are continuing to search, as Lily and Bruce, you both kind of look around nervous. There are no windows in this room, but you can hear from the door back down the hallway the handle beginning to rattle. As the door begins to shake, you can feel the vibrations through the building as the temperature continues at a noticeable pace to dip. And even through, for those of you with the heavier coats that the guards had, which I believe all of you had, correct?
I believe
Yeah.
so, yes.
Okay. The
I
chill
stole
is
mine
now.
from a dead.
Yeah.
I stole mine from a dead body.
I found mine in a locker with the Billy Club.
That would have been a lot easier.
Even through the coats, you can feel the chill now beginning to reach you. As you can hear the wood of the front door beginning to crack and splinter before a moment of silence and footsteps lightly beginning to tread down the hallway.
Alright. And I get a truth out of this. So, I have
Yes,
2 ideas. They're both equally horrible for us.
I think a lot of things happening right now are all equally horrible for all of you.
So, I'm gonna say... when we get to the stairs, there are stairs going to the basement. I'm
Okay.
gonna wrap this up before, hour and a half in.
Yeah, we've been going for 30 minutes.
Some of that wasn't actually game, that was
Well-
just talking.
Yeah, so you guys have probably been going for like 20 to 25 minutes.
This is gonna be interesting.
This is literally the polar opposite of the first
How
session.
it started, yes.
Yeah. This is literally the opposite of 2 candles in like 5.5 hours. This is 2 candles in
Yeah, this is
20 minutes.
it's insane because our first episode was so freaking long.
Well, I always
2
tell
candles.
people as the story progresses and the situation gets more dire and the dice pool continues to shrink, it gets harder and harder and harder.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Final candle. Time to say it.
3, 2, 1.
And we
And
are
we
live.
are
And we are
alive.
alive.
One thing that I realize now that I've been skipping is saying before each time, the world is dark. Just in case anyone, was confused and thought maybe the sun was coming up.
No.
Yeah. This was all just a fever dream. Oh, next truth. This was all just a fever dream, and we're
There-
all back to where we should be, and we're all alive.
There are literally no more truths. The next one, after this candle goes out, it's literally the world is dark and we are alive, and then it's just the world is dark.
Okay.
That recent meme, I like dark humor, but holy crap.
Yeah. Alright.
I know a dark joke, but not saying it. I don't think Silent would appreciate that kind of humor.
I like dark humor.
Boy,
It's
those
it's-
guys sure gave us the cold shoulder when we wanted equipment, huh, guys?
God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like dark humor. I think Twitch would not appreciate it.
Yes. Anything darker than that, probably not going to go on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had one involving a minefield, so
God.
it's not going to happen on stream.
No. But we'll probably have plenty of time to chat after this.
Yeah, at the rate this
Oh,
is going.
yeah, of course.
Alright, Mitch. As you frantically search the bodies, the surrounding the table, you can all hear the door creaking, splintering, and the sound of footsteps coming down the hall towards the kitchen. Looking back and forth and kind of, I can't even call it light, and this faint glow that the sparking of the light fixture overhead gives off.
I think at this point too, Mitch would have his lighter out because that would be better than nothing.
Okay. Yeah, Mitch, you pulling out your lighter and starting to light it. The flame on it is... It's odd. The flame on it is low. Much lower than you would expect, and as you kind of bring it up quickly and shake it next to your ear, you're beginning to hear what sounds like slush on the inside. Yes, the butane is freezing for people who
For
weren't
those
putting
of
that
you who
together.
aren't in the know, that's really freaking cold.
Yeah, it's really cold. You can feel the chill piercing through even the warm coats to your bodies.
Oh
As
yeah.
your GM looks at the music and tries to figure out why it wasn't immediately looping. As the sound of footsteps get closer and closer to the kitchen, you all, in what little light you have remaining, kind of quickly look between each other and head to the far side of the kitchen, where Bruce said that there were stairs heading up to the second floor, up to a couple of staff offices, to a room where members of staff would be able to leave their personal belongings before heading up to the asylum proper. However, as you make your way through the door, Mitch quickly kind of pulling the door open, a little bit of the top few layers of skin peeling off, immediately seeming to adhere and freeze to the door handle. You quickly look around, and you can see the stairs in front of you. However, instead of ascending up to the second floor, they seem to be heading down the walls, the normally wooden walls of the building, and the floor transitioning into a cold, hard concrete. As you all look between each other, trying to figure out what to do, you can now hear the steps beginning to make their way through the kitchen. As the door to your right, to the outside, thankfully, seemingly currently locked, the handle begins to rattle.
Yep, we're going downstairs. Yep, Mitch is gonna start heading down the stairs. There's no other options really.
You should go up.
Lily's gonna follow.
Bruce?
As the only one who understands that that's not right, but gesturing back, that's not right even more. Downstairs.
It's even more not right. It's more left.
It's so
my
far not
God.
right, it's left.
And it's funny because the way I'm envisioning the layout in my head, yes, the stairs are in fact to your left, the door is in fact to your right.
Those stairs are not right. Yes, they're left. Come on.
Yes, no, they are in fact to your left. What? Alright. You all quickly begin to... you all quickly begin to descend down the steps. Sorry, folks. Begin to descend down the steps. The wood creaking under your feet, becoming steps onto slick, frosted concrete. You head down for a short ways before noticing a light flickering of light in front of you. As you round the corner on the steps and continue down, you can see a couple of flickering LED lights that seem to still be intact overhead, despite the chill that is continuing to fill the air around you, the frost that's beginning to form on the topmost layer of your exposed skin at this point. You kind of all rubbing your faces, trying to keep yourselves warm now in whatever way you can, though. Even the heavy coats are now beginning to freeze at the top. Your fingers going numb as you step forward onto a concrete ground in what seems to be a long corridor with doors lining each side. A very familiar corridor. And
Right back in the frickin' basement.
And one door, a short ways ahead of you, cracked open.
Real quick, are the voices telling us anything?
No. Silence.
You know
All you
what?
hear is the sound of silence.
I'm not playing the Hello Darkness My Old Friend meme for you all.
It's okay.
But now everyone's
okay,
thinking
just-
about it.
I think,
Yeah.
I honestly, Silent, if you were to say any more about that song, Twitch would probably copyright, so it's probably for the best.
Well, we're underground in a place that shouldn't be here, running from frost demons. As the sun stopped existing. Hey Lily, can I have one of those cigarettes?
Saturday?
Gosh
Lily
dang it, is this
takes-
Ragnarok?
Lily hands him one and takes one out too.
It's a frickin' frost giants, I knew it.
Alright, Bruce and Lily, you are both sitting there holding unlit cigarettes.
You look at, Lily looks at Mitch and is like, Mitch, can you give us a light?
You know what, at this point, why not? Let's just keep moving afterwards. And he lights their cigarettes for them, and then starts like...
Lily offers him one.
Yeah, sure. He takes one and starts smoking it, because at this point, why not, right?
It's probably not going to be the death of you.
Alright, as you all begin moving down the corridor, lit cigarettes in your hands or in your mouth, smoke kind of drifting up to the ceiling in thick clouds that are seemingly, it's so cold that even the clouds of smoke aren't properly dispersing. Kind of the stagnant air down here. It's a mix of sensations, the smoke, almost this sweet coppery smell in the air, concrete dust, maybe a little bit of mold. You can hear from the steps you were just on, footsteps beginning to walk down them. Where are you heading to?
I suppose the yellow brick road, I don't know.
At this point, I want to say as far away from the stairwell as possible.
How about we're just running and we're not really paying attention to which direction?
Yeah.
Or well,
So-
walking and not paying attention to which way we're going.
There's only one corridor stretching out in front of you. As you begin moving down the hallway, you eventually reach the first set of doors. The door on your right, the room you had previously entered into, still seems to be cracked open. You can hear a strange noise coming from inside of it. It almost sounds like metal tools. You can hear some clattering onto the table. The occasional ping, ping, almost like that sound you hear as the dentist takes sharp metal objects and plays with your teeth.
Illiren, do you want to bravely investigate the door?
Who's Illiren?
You want to investigate for us? Really, just kind of slips to the behind everyone.
Yeah, Mitch still has his broken flashlight as it is a blunt object.
Didn't one of you guys have a billy club? Because I know I found one and then handed it to one of you.
Yeah, Mitch will hand the bulkier, heavier flashlight over to him. Say, if you need to hit anything, here's something. And then he pulls out the billy club that he has.
Thanks. I'll put it right next to my letter opener.
I gave
Let's
you one
see
of my
what's
3
behind
scalpels.
door number 1. I dropped one of them in the snow. Sorry.
Aww.
Let's check behind door number 1.
Who is opening the door?
Bruce.
Alright.
Like one good hand I have the flashlight, the other hand limply hanging by my side.
Bruce. I need you to make me a roll. 2d6. Plus another 1d6 afterwards for your hope die.
Oh.
He does have his virtue. This is a good point to pull it in, too.
Oh yeah, it's a good virtue too.
Okay, now I will say you did succeed. You did roll a 5 on your hope die, but you did also roll a 1. Do you want to use your virtue? If you can tie your virtue narratively into checking behind the semi-closed door with the creepy noises coming out of it while footsteps are falling behind you. Do you want to use your virtue to re-roll that 1? Even if it doesn't succeed, you still succeeded on the check. But at the
Yes,
very
I
least
do.
it would keep a dice in the dice pool. Alright, go ahead and tell us how your bravery narratively ties into this.
As if any explanation is really needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. The sounds, everything. At this point, it's a mixture of both I'm brave and I don't really care much anymore. Like at that point of just being so damn afraid, you just kind of become apathic to everything. That the sounds, the running, none of it even stops me anymore.
You're so frightened you're
So,
making
yeah, I
horror
just
movie
opened the door.
decisions. Alright. Well, you did succeed, and you did manage to save the 1. So your dice pool for all of you is still 2d6.
Hooray!
I'm giving the group the highest likelihood of continuing.
Unfortunately, you did not roll more 6s than I did.
No, really?
What are the chances?
Yeah. You now have 8d6 in your pool, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I remembered that's how it worked.
Yup, no, I start with basically 0 narrative control, and as the game progresses, it's more and more likely that I'll be able to take that control away from the group itself.
And the only way we can gain control is by one of us sacrificing ourselves and seizing control, correct?
You don't necessarily need to sacrifice yourself to seize control. You can sacrifice yourself to seize control of a failed check, and if someone else is inspired by it, you can pass your hope die to them. But the way to steal control on a successful check that I rolled more 6s than you on is to douse a candle.
Which at this point would be just ending the game.
It'd be tantamount to suicide, yeah.
Okay.
You, at that point, you might as well wait to until you can narrate a failed check.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to slowly try and remember, just in case. You never know.
Never know. Never know. To be
It's
fair,
getting dark.
I think it was 3 candles left, Taylor, when you sacrificed yourself in the last game last year.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, and
Knowledge,
then
knowing is half the battle, and the other half is extreme violence.
sounds about
It's
right.
getting-
Alright.
It's getting real dark. Let's open the door.
Alright. As the footsteps begin to get closer and closer to the bottom of the steps, Bruce, the door cracked open, the noises coming from inside you. Quickly open the door. Inside, you can see the same room as before. The metal basins, the chair now leaned back, the figure of the doctor still in the chair. You can see a robed figure, in not like robed as in like culty robes, but like doctor smock. Kind of standing over it, big mask over their face, kind of fiddling with the tools, picking up one, putting their other one in the dirty water that was off to the side, fiddling with where before you had seen the flesh and the skull peeled away from the forehead. Hearing the door open, the figure stops what they're doing and kind of turns. Oh, Lily, welcome back. I thought you were trying to leave. As you can all see,
lost.
as you can all see before you, blood kind of spattered over the front of their doctor's smock. Rachel.
Mitch is very uncomfortable with this whole thing, but he's, like, assuming we've got inside, gonna close the door behind him.
Has anyone else but Mitch gone inside the room?
Bruce led the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
and the others followed, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And assuming there's a lock on the door, he's also going to lock the door.
And I'm assuming Mitch hasn't seen any of the blood.
Oh no, he saw it. It's just that at this point, it's not as problematic for him as Freaky Frost Demon coming down the stairs.
Yeah, fear is overriding the hemophobia at this point, I think.
Yes. Side note, was Rachel doing surgery in the dark?
No, there was LED lights coming from the room, right?
There are LED lights kind of flickering in and out along the hallway from overhead. In the room, there is a single lamp hanging over the table, and the lights kind of flickering in and out.
Okay, yeah. No, I just wanted to make sure because it kind of made sense that she would have some form of light. So yes, we're good for now.
I'm also pretty sure that's not surgery.
You never know.
It's an autopsy or a vivisection or something.
I don't think that man has a medical license.
Good thing it's not a man doing it.
Yeah.
That's also not a real person.
As you all head into
Like
the
tulpa
room,
surgery.
Mitch, you close the door behind you, kind of fumbling around, locking it. You all kind of step farther into the room. It looks like Lily is holding some kind of long hooked metal pick. It has some kind of fleshy material kind of hooked onto the end of it.
Oh boy.
Silent, I
Lobotomy.
think you mean Rachel, because I'm Lily.
Yeah, Rachel.
I don't... Yeah.
Or plot twist!
It was Lily all along. No.
Lily pulls out scalpels and just throws them at her two friends. Into the game.
I have an idea for how his brink might play into Mitch's going out, and that would not go well for anyone else.
Rachel kind of
No.
cleans off the end of the device and puts it off to the side in the water. What are you all doing here?
Hey, Rachel, we got lost, and we heard something behind us, so we ran and we found this house.
Rachel kind of walks over to you, Lily. You don't have to worry about any of that here. Everything's been fine here. And she reaches up and kind of pats you on the top of your head, and you can feel this deep chill kind of slowly spreading over your skin.
I'm kind of gonna be as if Lily didn't notice it, because at this point I think we all know Lily's kind of off her rocker as well. Because I think by now it's an open secret that everyone knows that Lily wasn't exactly a doctor here.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Tell me more.
Lily's just not gonna mention anything and just smile happy at seeing Rachel again, not even caring about the blood or anything.
Well, what were you all running from? I mean, there shouldn't be many people down here right now.
We're not sure it was exactly people.
What else would it have been? I mean, they don't allow pets inside of the hospital. Let alone down here in the basement.
I don't think anyone had these as pets. No, that would not be a good idea.
Maybe it was a mad therapy dog. I honestly don't know. It just sounded scary.
As you're all speaking with Rachel, you can hear a knock on the door to the room. Oh, just give me 1 second, let me get that.
Nope, Mitch is going to immediately try and stop her from getting to the door.
Alright. What are you doing to try to stop her from getting to the door?
So remind me again
Oh,
mechanically
no.
how brinks work.
Alright.
Oh no!
After you make your check, if you want to, you can choose to embrace your brink. Doing so, you would at that point reveal to everyone what your brink is, and you would then narrate kind of how you are going to utilize what your brink is in the situation, much like you would a vice or a virtue, and it would allow you to completely re-roll your dice pool. Keep in mind that includes 1s, 6s, and everything else in between. They have to be re-rolled. If you succeed, after embracing your brink, you keep your brink, unlike your moment, your vice, your virtue. you have revealed it to the rest of the group. As such in the narrative. However, you can still choose to embrace it again if you want to. If you fail, you lose your brick. You lose your hope die if you have it. And at that point, all hope is basically lost to your character. You've essentially become mad. You've embraced the worst parts of who your character is. And at that point, your character functionally becomes more of a liability than an asset to the rest of the group.
Alright. So, should I roll and then narrate based on the roll? I think that's...
Yes, first you would make the roll, and if realistically, if you fail, then you would want to embrace your brink if you could tie it in narratively.
Alright. Oh! I did not fail.
Holy crap! How are we getting these rolls this
I-
late in the game?
I don't see your roll.
It's a 5 and a 6.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, 5 and a 6.
Okay. You do succeed. You did not roll any ones, so your dice pool does not decrease. And against all odds, I rolled 2 1s, a 2, 2 3s, and 3 4s. So, you have narrative control of this.
1 sec, real quick. Ow. 2 candles left, and somehow we have narrative control.
Hey,
That's
it
the
happens
way the dice
sometimes.
fall.
Wow.
So go ahead and
Yes.
explain.
I have the luck of the Irish. It's all very good or very bad. There's no in between.
You are trying to stop Rachel from heading over to answer and open this door. Go ahead and narrate what this success looks like.
Mitch is going to swing out with his billy club for the back of her head and knock her out, and she drops like a sack of potatoes.
Okay.
And
Mitch,
Whether-
as
that just knocked her out or did something more serious, I will leave up to your interpretation.
Mitch. As Rachel begins heading over to the door, as she passes by you, you quickly wait for her to just have walked by and quickly pulling out the billy club. You spin and slam it against the back of her head, not holding anything back. You can hear a slight crack as the billy club hits her, cracking and splitting apart. As Rachel's form drops to the ground, almost like a column of dust mite, dissipating into shadow that rolls along the ground as you can hear the light above the table begin to creak and whine. From the darkness on the sides of the room, a cold wind begins to blow as the temperature drops and the light overhead shatters, leaving you all for the moment in darkness.
I still got my lighter. I'll be honest, I was not expecting that.
You or Mitch?
That was Mitch, in character. That's what he's actually saying.
Okay.
Why
You
could
can all-
do that to Rachel?
Listen, I'm pretty sure that's not Rachel.
The hell is.
Lily, you're positive that was Rachel.
I know that was Rachel. It was her.
Then then she was part of this all from the beginning. If that
She
was her,
couldn't have
that's
been.
the only. Then explain your friend dissolving into shadows.
Doctor,
It's Rachel. She does that all the time.
Lily, roll me a quick d6.
Just the one.
Okay. Mitch and Bruce, you both saw Rachel fall to the ground, dissipate into this billowing cloud of shadows, the light overhead shatter, the features of the room around you, the table, the chair, the basins and cabinets, all kind of disappear into darkness. The room, or wherever it is you are, you can't quite tell. It almost doesn't even seem like you're in the same room anymore. The only light you have, a small glow from Mitch's lighter as you're kind of huddled together. Lily, you see Rachel unconscious on the floor. The room is still the same you were in. The light up above the chair is still there, kind of flickering, as the knocking on the door has now turned to pounding that only Lily you can hear.
Look, I don't care what Rachel was. That she was gonna let that thing in.
What are you talking about, though? She's still laying on the ground over there. I'm gonna go see if she's alright.
Lily just will walk over and start looking at Rachel and trying to wake her up.
Okay.
Lily, it's pitch black in here.
Bruce, Mitch, you both watch Lily kind of walk a few steps away from you, her form kind of fading into the darkness. Lily, you walk over to Rachel's body. It's cold and chilled, frigid to the touch. As you begin shaking her, the pounding on the door becoming slamming, you can start to see small dents beginning to appear in the door. Rachel seems unresponsive.
Do I notice if the door's caving in and stuff yet?
I mean, if it seems like if this kind of hitting continues, it'll eventually probably give way. You're starting to see dents beginning to form in the door where it looks like something is hitting it. As they get hit a second time, they begin to break in a little bit further.
Would it be fine if I find a space to hide?
Taking a look around the room, you could try to hide behind the chair, behind the table. You might be able to open up one of the ground level cabinets and crawl into it. You might even be able to try to open up one of the what seem like equipment lockers and kind of close the door behind you.
I'm going to do that for the equipment locker. I'm gonna attempt to hide in it.
Okay. Lily, you quickly make your way over to the equipment locker. Opening it up, there's all kinds of medical supplies and equipment. You kind of pull a bunch of them out and quickly shove them into the cabinets next to you. Climbing inside and closing the door behind you. Kind of crunched up on a shelf that You're small, you're light. Thankfully it's able to hold your weight, but kind of crunched up on a kind of raised shelf in this locker. Mitch, Bruce, Lily has disappeared into the darkness. You were able to hear for a couple of seconds what almost sounded like the faint echo of footsteps from her, but now it's just darkness and silence.
Well, that was different.
Lily, what are you doing?
Just, if she wants to get herself killed, whatever. We shouldn't make noise. It might attract whatever it was.
Lily will just say quietly, hide.
Lily, you say hide quietly from your hiding space. Mitch, Bruce, you are unable to hear. Lily, the door, you can hear the banging on it as it continues to creak and groan. I need you to make me a check. So 2d6 and then
2d6?
2d6 and then your hope dice separately, yes. Okay. You didn't roll more successes from me, but you did succeed.
Okay.
As from your hiding spot, you're not hearing the sounds of Mitch and Bruce trying to find anywhere to hide away. As the pounding continues on the door, it seems that for the moment the door is still holding. However, you can hear the sounds of metal beginning to crack and bend.
Lily will say loud, but not too loud. Not quite yelling. Hide. It's coming.
Mitch and Bruce, you don't hear anything.
So, just the question now is, now what? Do we just wait here, see if the thing passes over?
I mean, yeah. Probably should back away from the door.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. And Mitch and Bruce will go away from where they remember the door being.
Okay. I'll do Lily first. Lily, the pounding on the door is continuing to grow as you hear Mitch and Bruce beginning to move in the room, moving closer to the far back wall where the cabinet you're in is. However, their footsteps, after their first couple of footfalls, begin to sound muffled. And then softer. Until you can't hear their footsteps anymore. And the pounding on the door kind of dies down and disappears. Mitch and Bruce, you both begin kind of moving along back away from where you remember the door being. After a couple of paces back towards where you remember the back wall being, probably a good, 7 or 8 paces away, you begin to hear a hard crunch under your feet as the chilling wind begins to pick up again. And in the small light that this lighter is giving off for you, that you're now shielding with your hand to keep it from being blown out, you can begin to see the falling of snow.
Okay, basement maybe, but no, we were inside.
Yeah, I'm making as much sense out of this as you are. If I look behind us, like, is there a wall where there should be a wall?
You both continue to move forward. The cold breeze, the falling snow, the crunching under your feet. You both walk for a good 15, 20, 25, 30 paces. Still no sign of any kind of wall in sight.
Or any sign of anything?
With the light from the lighter, there's just a faint glow around your hands. Mitch, Bruce, you guys are having to stick fairly close together to avoid even losing sight of each other. Kind of bending down, you kind of hold the lighter to the ground and you can see a light dusting of snow.
I brush some of it aside with the foot. Is it like concrete or asphalt or dirt?
And you kind of push the snow off to the side, eventually reaching kind of brittle, broken shards of grass.
Well, we're probably outside. Can't say for sure at this point. They could have just moved the grass inside for all I know.
We were walking a straight line longer than the room was big.
Yeah, I know. You got your britches in a twist over how impossible this is. Everything else is kind of impossible too. At this point, I'm just sort of trying to stay alive.
Okay. As you both are standing there talking, you can feel a gust of wind, chilled, blowing against your backs. I'm gonna need. Which one of you is leading?
Say at this point, Mitch has the lighter, so probably him.
Okay. Bruce. I'm gonna need you to make me a check.
How far can we push this? Probably not that far.
This is a dire conflict.
Oh yeah, no, I failed that.
No, I don't need. Did I say Mitch or Bruce to make the roll?
You said Bruce.
I said
That-
Bruce, yeah.
You're
Oh,
talking to Mitch
okay.
a lot, then suddenly Mitch and it's Bruce.
Yeah,
I can
Mitch-
understand why
Mitch-
you got confused.
Mitch was in the lead. I need Bruce to make the roll.
Okay, I misunderstood.
Nope, not a problem.
Oh, he failed.
Oh, he still has
his hope dice.
still has his
Nope,
hope
he
die.
failed.
No, he failed. As you
Unless-
both are
Unless
slowly
he has a way to pull his brink into it.
Well, as you both are slowly walking forward, you can feel a gust of chilled air suddenly burst from behind you all, blowing around you, kind of freezing quickly the top layer of your skin. The very beginnings of frostbite really beginning to set in on your exposed faces, your exposed hands. And you can hear this low from behind you. It's quickly getting louder behind you, Bruce.
Crap, it's hunting.
No, a hunt is only when your flashlight begins flickering and the doors to the van and the front door closes. Bruce, do you did fail your roll, both on your normal dice and your brink dice?
Hope die.
Yes, your hope die and your normal dice pool. Do you have a way to pull your brink into this?
Oh, all right.
I'm just asking, is at this point either a failed dire conflict, or you have a way to re-roll the pool with your brink?
I think
Or I'm just saying that just because this is a thought mechanically, or a heroic sacrifice is possible. If he can pull that in, he would die, but I would get the hope die, and the scene would end that way.
If you're inspired by his death, yes.
Yes. I'm saying, if narratively, like mechanically, that's an option if he can swing it narratively. And if he wants to, of course.
So yeah, do you want to heroically sacrifice yourself? Do you want to accept the failure? Or do you want to try to tie your brink into this?
I kind of want to use my brink.
Go for it.
Okay, go ahead
Do it.
and tell us what your brink is and how your brink is going to play a role in trying to successfully resolve this conflict.
All right, my brink.
Which, to be fair, Mitch should know, because Taylor wrote the brink for you, so it's something
Yes.
Mitch has seen you do.
Yes.
So yeah, my brink is. I have spoken with the shadows. I'm the one who told them how to get inside.
Ooh.
I know them. I know these shadows. I was never feeling that much danger myself.
That's actually a pretty smart brink. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alright. How are you going to tie this into the narrative?
I hear the sound of the wind up of him, the wind about to hit. And I just kind of step aside, knowing that it's about to hit.
Okay, how are you tying your brink into it?
This is a
Say that again?
Bruce. I'm wanting to just walk away from Mitch, and just.
I mean,
This is the moment. They have both of them. I'm done.
Okay, I mean that's a way you could narrate it if you succeed on the roll, but how are you going to tie speaking with the shadows, helping the shadows kind of enter into the asylum? How are you going to tie that into attempting to resolve this?
I'm going to yell into the darkness. Wait.
Just wait.
The night's not over yet. Already, just stop. I'm going to try and convince. Yep, I'm going to use the fact that I have spoken with them. You owe them to convince them to stop, not to freeze us. Yet.
Okay, let me find the dice I just dropped. Oh my god, that one's froze. Yeah, that disappeared to the farthest corner under my desk possible.
Yeah, that isn't that how it usually goes.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and re-roll your 2d6 and then re-roll your hope die.
Oh, very nice.
Okay. There are no ones. You do not lose anything from your dice pool. And I didn't roll any sixes, so go ahead and narrate what this success looks like.
Holy
This is-
heck!
Oh,
Ow.
just to point this out, this is the second time in this scene one of us has rolled an 11 on 2d6, and you got no sixes.
Yeah.
Somebody
is roll
stat that out
20
if you
with
want
it?
to.
Want me to clip it?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Wait. I can't freaking clip in the Twitch launcher, can I? What the heck? Sorry, can't clip it.
That's no problem. I can highlight it afterwards.
Yeah, you might want to, cause holy heck!
We are hour 30. Okay. Alright, go ahead and tell me what this success looks like, Illiren. Bruce.
Okay. Bruce. Bruce stops, turns to the darkness, or I guess not really necessarily need to turn because direction is meaningless right now. Stop that, you! Stop! Wait, why can't I speak right now? I had like a small speech prepared in my head and suddenly, nope, gone.
Because it's like,
Stage fright.
you can't speak right now because it's like instant frostbite temperatures. Take your time to gather it in your head. And while he's doing that, I'll just point to the fact that when your 2 dice pool candle lasts longer than your 3 and 4 combined,
I know, right?
by like 2 to 3 times the duration of both of them combined.
Oh yeah.
Just keep in mind, we just hit the hour 30 mark, and your first 2 candles in this session dropped in the first, 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh, we need to get you content, right?
Stop that, you overgrown icicle. Night's not over, the story's not done. Now put us back. I'm basically demanding the darkness do what I want. I have no idea if it's going to work.
Okay. Mitch, you feel as well the wind kind of burst from behind you. You can hear the something approaching from behind. As Bruce stops, you can hear his footsteps cease behind you. You kind of turn and can see in the faint flickering light of the lighter, right before it blows out, he kind of stops walking and turns, speaking into the darkness. Before the lighter is blown out, the wind stops. The snow drifting down slowly fades away, and overhead, a slightly flickering shaded lamp comes on. While that is happening, Lily, you are hiding in the equipment locker in the basement. The pounding on the door has faded, and the room is returned to silence save for the hum of the flickering light.
Billy is gonna slowly open the locker and kind of peek out.
Peeking out into the room, the door is heavily dented. There are cracks in the metal. From what you can see, a sheen of frost over it as well. Some chunks have even popped out and fallen off the door. The chair in the middle of the room, you can see a few paces away from it, still kind of unconscious on the ground, the form of Rachel.
Lily's gonna exit the cabinet and attempt to wake Rachel up again.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a roll. As you make your way over to Rachel, trying to wake her.
I was gonna say, if we get another 11 and no 6s, I was gonna call roll 20 or something.
Zach, I typed in the command wrong.
Okay.
Nope. I take that 5 that I rolled individually and just slap that onto my hope die and call it good?
No.
Wait, where's my wallet? I'll sub to you real quick.
I mean,
Oh,
you do still have your brink, if that's an option that you want to use.
I mean, if you
Or accept a failure.
I will say it is on the overlay.
Yeah,
You
but
can-
what do you think, Silent?
you
I
can-
don't think that would really fit this.
You can. That doesn't matter if it's you or someone else. You can subscribe to give a player a free reroll to use when they want to, or a free truth to write in.
Yeah, I would if I had just gotten paid, but I didn't. Dang it! And I don't think my brink would work. I honestly
Okay.
don't. Not in this situation.
Just pay to win your way through 10 candles.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
At this point,
You
the only way we would have hope to do it is literally just pay to win.
You just subscribe at tier 1 to give yourself a reroll, then you upgrade to tier 2 to give yourself another reroll. And then once you hit tier 3, it's like, shit, I can't pay to win anymore. I'm out of microtransactions.
Hey. That's where I'll just be like, hey, Silent, say, But I don't know. 500 biddies get me a couple more dice.
Oh my
Wait a minute, I
god.
got another ad. Would this ad get me anything?
Oh my god! Pay to win 10 candles, I love it.
This microtransaction it.
I mean, at that point,
what do you
yeah.
think? What do you think? Do you think my brink would help out at all?
I don't remember what your brink is.
You're the one who made it. How could you not remember it?
I didn't check it before the session. Give me a second. I'm gonna switch to the BRB screen. If, you know, OBS will start responding, you can go check it.
Real quick question.
Okay.
Well, will these allow me to reroll my hope die? I mean, will this help me? I mean, I got a couple more ads. I mean, if you give me a minute, I can get you a few more.
See, I put that in there for like viewers who want to support the game. I didn't think
But
about
I am a viewer.
I didn't think about microtransaction in you. Holy shit! Let me go see here. Your brink.
Here, I can
Ooh.
if I had a reaction, will you see it?
How so?
Here, I'll copy it. And I'll just do that. Then if you click it, it'll take you right up to where you put my brink.
Yeah.
Because as it is, only me and you know this brink.
Yeah, I don't know how useful that would be. Don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that would be useful in this situation.
Yeah, so I guess...
It could have been useful if you were in that locker, but...
Can Lily just quickly run back and hide in a locker then?
No, okay, yeah, Lily, you run over to Rachel and begin shaking her. She's frigid to the touch. As you begin shaking her, you can feel the chill running through your fingers, going numb as even just contact with her is beginning to set in. Frostbite into your fingertips, blackening them, slowly beginning to spread up your hands until you pull away. As you're kneeling next to her, kind of pulling back, the light overhead begins to flicker quickly, and the next second, Mitch and Bruce, in kind of a burst of cold air seemingly out of nowhere, are standing next to you, back in the room, back where they initially were. Kind of a fresh coat of snow covering them, ice clinging to their boots and shoes that they're wearing. As the light begins to flicker faster, Mitch and Bruce, you can see Lily kind of kneeling down on the ground. You're back in the room. Her fingertips and down her fingers are kind of black, kind of kneeling over Rachel's body. As suddenly you can hear another pound and pound against the door, to the hallway. You can see it now, the cracks and dents running through the door as two pale hands, human hands, but they're too pale to be human hands. They're bending at awkward angles you wouldn't be able to really exert force with, and beginning to peel away the metal of the door as you can almost visibly see chilled frost beginning to blow into the room, and ice beginning to form on the door where these hands are touching the metal, cracking.
Okay, Mitch is immediately going to turn to Bruce and sound warning for anyone with headphones or anything like that. What the hell did you do?
As
I
another
just want to
candle
say
goes
thank you for
up.
giving me that heads up to where I could mute out my, turn down my volume.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that.
I
figured
did.
it was called for, yeah.
I didn't, but it wasn't too loud for me.
Yeah, well, I'm coming down with a headache, so...
Oh yeah, no, that would have done it.
Maybe this Crown Royal will help me forget the headache.
Hair of
Alcohol,
the dog, right?
alcohol is a great solution, I've heard, for headaches.
Well, it's literally a solution.
Ah, feel the burn.
Chemically, it's a
Feel the
solution.
burn.
Realistically, don't try it at home, folks.
Anyway, so yes, Mitch will see us just
Well-
pop back into being in this room as this thing is peeling through the door because Bruce yelled at a ghost or something. and immediately yells at him.
Lily's just sitting and... Oh, are we gonna do the whole... The
I was-
sky is dark?
I was gonna say, and as Mitch yells at Bruce, the candle darkens, the scene ends. So I will say my line and then I'll count down for y'all.
Yep.
The world is dark. 3, 2, 1.
And we are
And we
alive.
are alive.
Wow, at some point in that, everyone was actually talking at the same time. It wasn't in sync, but it wasn't terrible.
Could be worse, could be better. I think Lily's by now just gonna give up upon hearing the beating again, attempt to go back hiding. This time saying, "Hide!"
As the pale hands, you can see arms beginning to reach in through the tear in the door. They're pale. There are remnants of what looks like a doctor's smock, torn and bloodied, kind of covering them. Pale arms, kind of scratched and frozen over, peeling the door back as you can see at this weird, impossible, contortionist angle, a figure beginning to climb in through the tear in the door.
I have an idea.
You hear Lily shout, well, not shout, but say for you all to hide as she quickly runs back to the far cupboard. You watch her kind of open it up, climb inside, and close it back behind herself.
I have a wonderful, terrible idea. So we're in a basement-based area. Are there any gas lines on the walls? It's an
I'm just
old
gonna
hospital.
say this.
You don't
I'm
see
gonna say
any.
this real quick. Okay, good.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say this real quick. If this does go through, I think I'll be glad that Lily is currently cowering inside of a metal cabinet. I am just saying that.
Either that or it'll cook you alive.
Yep.
Well, that's fine. Lily's cold anyway.
God, that literally actually reminds me of when I was back in Boy Scouts and we all got our polar bear achievement for camping in cold enough temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so cold, a couple of us actually melted rocks into the bottom of our hiking boots because our feet were so close to the campfire and we were so cold that we actually didn't notice that our boots were melting.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I legitimately had to go buy a new pair of hiking boots after that camping trip.
You know, since this is the last candle, I am shutting off my light.
You know,
And it's pitch black in my room with only the light on my monitor.
I wanted to see if there is a gas line, because
Yes.
at this point,
you
Mitch
do not...
would rather take himself out than let this thing get to him. And doing so in the way
At this thing,
he knows how.
the thing is peeled away a large portion of the door in the frame. And it's kind of stepped inside of the room, kind of uncontorting itself. You can see the pale, iced-over figure of what looks like a male doctor. Pieces of his skin frozen and chunked away from a cheek, from the side of his face next to his eye, tears on his arms kind of covered over not with scabbing or new skin, but with ice. Layers of frost upon layers of frost. Even in the chill of the room, you can see a cold steam kind of rising from around his body as he steps into the room, and you can read, ignoring the slack-jawed face, the jaw kind of tilted at an odd angle, the eyes void of light. You can see the name tag Shane. Was it Shane or Sean?
Sean.
Sean.
1 sec, let me double check my notebook.
Yeah, I'm checking the truth.
I'm like 98% sure it's Sean.
Yeah, it was Sean.
It's Sean.
You can see the name tag Sean on the left part of his what remains of his coat. Mitch, you don't see any gas lines in this room. The only thing you can see in this room is the wiring that heads up to the light. However, you do remember out in the hallway there are multiple pipings that run through the hallway. You don't know if you saw a gas line or not. But if you can make it past this figure out into the hallway, you might be able to check.
Really wanted that to happen. Oh well. I wanted to pull my brink into this, but
Well, you're not the only one who can act right now. If someone else wants to do something that they think their character would do, other than Lily, who's hiding in a cupboard.
Yeah, Mitch is. I kind of want to try and break past him, but the whole point of the gasline thing is that I wanted to blow everyone up in a spectacular final ending. But, you know,
I can do one better, but you guys wouldn't like it.
What is your brink, if you don't mind telling us?
It's late enough now. The brink that I got from Kitsune is, I have seen you burn the evidence.
And he'd be burning the evidence that this ever happened.
A bit of
Okay.
a stretch. Yeah.
I mean, I could see you trying to tie that into breaking past him and into the hallway to look for a gas line.
Question.
Yes.
Can I make the whole sequence, break past him, find a gas line, bust it open, explosion, one check?
It would be 2.
That's the problem, because I need... The chances of me getting 6s on 2 checks is astronomically... Well, not astronomically, but very low at this point.
Welcome to the final moments of your character's life.
I just wanted it to be
Curiosity.
epic. You know what,
Would have
screw
that
it.
guy seen me hiding the
Don't
cabinet,
forget,
though?
you don't have to. If you can succeed on the first one, don't forget you don't have to succeed on the narrative check, and there's no rule that you can't, at least as far as I can remember, there's no rule that you cannot narratively sacrifice yourself on the last candle. You don't have a hope die to pass off.
It's true.
But you could kill your character off in a blaze of glory.
Now I want to do it. Now I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. Screw it.
I roll 20B with...
Nope.
Yeah, okay, never.
Alright, do you want to try to reroll with your brink?
You know what? Sure, why not? Nope, still no.
Oh.
Now I'm being driven completely mad by this.
Alright, you are dashing forward, trying and inevitably failing to break past Sean out into the hallway to reach a gas line that you're sure has to be there. Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
how do you want your character to die?
Well, considering his brink, and the fact that failing a brink roll is meant to push you past that to an irrevocably dark place, he's going to pull out the remaining gasoline bottles he has, pour them on himself, strike his lighter, and run towards Sean. See you in hell, mother...
Alright. Mitch. Lily, you can't see any of this. You can just hear it happening, but Bruce, you can see...
I'd like to think that Lily kind of has the door open a bit, just peeking out with just one of her eyes. Not completely shut, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Wait, I have to do it fully in the voice. See you in hell, mother... Fired. And he
Fire.
screams and dies as
You mean
he...
like this?
Mitch. You charge forward towards Sean, trying to break past him. However, as you reach him, his hands kind of reach out towards you, and for just a second you pull and stagger back, one of his hands brushing against your arm as you can feel it burning from his cold touch. Anywhere his hand touches, immediately, even through the coat, which immediately turns rigid and shatters. You can see this blackened frost burn on your skin that's slowly beginning to spread and numb your arm. As you stagger backwards a couple of steps, looking towards the opening of the door, looking towards the hallway where, if only you could have gotten there, you swear there would have been some kind of gas line that you could have broken and ignited, hopefully ending whatever this is that's happening in this place, currently happening to the world. Your last hope fading away from you. You kind of take it another step back, with your remaining good arm reaching and pulling out your first bottle of gasoline, kind of biting the rag with your teeth and spitting it out along with a little bit of gas that's soaked into it. Pour it over yourself, pulling out your second one as you take another step back, doing the same thing, pouring it all over your head, your body, your shoulders. You begin charging towards Sean, flicking the lighter a couple of times. Bruce, you watch as one of the sparks lands on his arm, as flames slowly ripple out as the gas that's covering him begins to burn, as he dives at Sean and tackles him into the door. You can hear this unearthly, inhuman cry coming from Sean as the flames begin to engulf Mitch's body. The smell of burning flesh and meat begin to fill the room with the smoke coming from the gas, the coat, Mitch himself. As he tackles Sean to the ground, and a steam begins to rise. This dense fog coming off, enveloping both of their forms. As it kind of slowly settles after a couple of seconds and drifts away, you can see, lying on the ground, Mitch's burnt and charred body slowly frosting over, cracking slightly as he's pushed off to the side, as Sean begins to stand. You can see the places where the fire touched him, his clothes burnt over, charred, slowly covering over in a fresh layer of frost and ice, as his head kind of rolls back up and he looks over towards you.
I'm satisfied with that ending.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
pretty good ending.
It was not quite the fireball I wanted, but still really good for Mitch. Okay, I'm muting up while I let you guys finish dying.
Alrighty.
Very well.
So Bruce, you have just watched this, Lily, kind of with the door mostly closed but slightly cracked open. You also have watched this.
At this point, Lily's just gonna slowly shut the door all the way.
Okay.
And kind of try and light another cigarette off of the still burning one. Just,
Yeah, you
I
kind
didn't
of
see
shut
anything.
the door the rest
I
of
did
the
not see
way.
anything.
The smoke that it was drifting out through the crack in the door is now just kind of beginning to fill and linger in the locker as you pull out a fresh cigarette and kind of taking the one that's almost burnt out of your mouth. You put the fresh one in and put the burning tip against the tip of the unlit one. Kind of inhaling, puffing a couple of times. More smoke begins to fill the locker, but you're kind of oblivious to it at this point. Lighting up the fresh cigarette and just kind of crushing the other one out against the side.
Generally, I don't condone smoking cigarettes, but at this point, Lily's about to die. She doesn't care.
It's like the 90s,
Oh,
who
yeah.
cares?
Oh yeah, I guess this would be the time period with ashtrays everywhere.
Yep.
You know,
What are you doing, Bruce?
Sean has stood back up and is beginning to move towards you.
my brother owns a store. My grandpapa built it in the 60s. Lived in it, actually. Apparently, took showers in the half-built wreckage of it. I grew up in there. This moment, just don't remember the name. I can't even really point out where it is in the world anymore. I don't remember anything outside this building. Why is that? Bruce is just going on soliloquying to this spirit, to the half-frozen cigarette, to something.
Yeah, with the chill in the air. It's a little bit warmer where Lily is because she's inside of a locker and has had a burning cigarette kind of going in this tiny, cramped, closed space. But yeah, where Bruce is, the unlit part of the cigarette is slowly frosting over lightly and then kind of being burnt away with the embers as they draw closer to the end towards the butt of the cigarette. Sean is...
Hmm.
I was gonna say
That's
Sean
alright.
is... Oops.
Alright, he's coming. We'll figure out who goes first next.
Yeah, Sean is slowly beginning to walk towards you. Sorry, what were you saying?
You can continue, El.
I had a lot of family. 6 siblings, plenty of cousins, few people of whom I cannot tell you were related. So I never really liked being alone. Not sure when I started, I just don't like it. Hands go numb and all that. Oddly, recently, I don't feel alone anymore. Looking up at the, I'm imagining slight giant of a creature that is Sean.
It's not even a giant of a creature. It's a normal, human-sized person. Judging by the clothes he's wearing, he might have worked in a different wing from you at one point. He looks like he could have at one point. Maybe sometime earlier, when all this began, been one of the doctors at the asylum.
He is now kind of standing right in front of you.
Is there a lady nearby?
You do see Rachel still seemingly unconscious on the ground.
You're not technically dying alone. Lily's hidden in a cabinet, but she can still hear. Lily's the one who's gonna die alone. I think.
I'm not going anywhere.
Do you even want to make a roll as Sean reaches out for you? Bruce?
Hmm.
Do you want to make a roll to try to do anything? Illiren?
I'm just gonna try to decide which one would be funner. Nah.
As you kind of sit there, Bruce, just kind of talking to Sean as he makes his way over towards you, kind of reminiscing on your life. You grew
Questioning
up.
existence. To say that he's the main fact that he doesn't remember anything.
Yeah, I know it's been so long that you've been here at working here. You really can't remember anything before being here. As you just kind of talk to Sean as he walks over to you, stares at you, you stare back at him as he reaches out his hand and puts it up against your head. You, for a split second, can feel this sharp pain run through your body. This cold washes over you before your body begins to numb. Your vision begins to slowly go dark. But you, strangely enough, feel at peace. No longer alone. As the last of your sight fades to the cold. Lily, you can hear from outside the locker the sound of someone collapsing to the floor, followed by silence. No footsteps. No wind. The sound of your friends, Mitch and Bruce. Their voices have ceased.
You know what? I was thinking about somehow using my brain, causing myself to snap and then killing me that way. But I think after hearing that, I think any traces of sanity left would end up causing Lily to go over anyway upon hearing her friends die. So, I've been thinking about this since the game started, actually. And I'll talk more about this later. But Lily's gonna palm one scalpel of her pocket,
Okay.
open
Lily.
the cabinet, and just only climb out and face on.
Alright, Lily, as you finish the cigarette, the second one kind of cough a little bit. The locker now full of smoke. You kind of crush it out on the side as well. Reaching into your pocket, you palm one of the scalpels, kind of pulling it out. And as you begin to open the cabinet to climb out and face Sean, roll me a d6. Not a check, not a conflict. Just roll me a d6.
I can type right.
Okay. And you begin to open the cabinet. As you begin to slowly kind of fiddle with the latch and begin to push it open, you feel the handle from the outside lift the latch. Kind of pull the cabinet open, and you can see in front of you Rachel. Lily, are you okay? What's going on?
It's over, Rachel. Mitch and Bruce are dead.
As you kind of climb out, facing Rachel, you can see, still over in front of the door, Mitch's kind of charred, burnt corpse, frosted over. You can see Sean standing a ways away, and next to him you can see, dressed in a heavy coat, pale skin, light burning marks, blackened, frosting over at the forehead. You can see Bruce standing next to him as they walk over to the chair and kind of pick up the body, begin to slowly kind of carry it out. Well, no one's ever really gone, Lily. There's always something left after. There's always another piece of the story. And Rachel kind of reaches out and goes to pull you into a hug.
You know what? This is gonna be a lot better than what I was planning, so I accept. I go into the hug. I accept her embrace.
As Rachel kind of reaches out, you can feel the cold from her body kind of beginning to numb you as you return her hug, chilling you through the jacket. Shivering, kind of kneel down to the floor. She goes down with you, continuing to hug you in close as your vision begins to fade. A second later, your eyes lightly fluttering open, you can see Lily, you've been leaned up by Rachel against the wall, a light shade of blue. Frost covering the room, seemingly to cover the world in front of you. You can see Bruce and Sean beginning to carry another body over to the chair. You can see Rachel kind of leaning down over Mitch, kind of brushing off some of the frost as the chars on his body begin to cover with a thin layer of ice as he begins to stir. You feel you're back with your friends, the people you know, the people who have helped you as you begin to prepare some of the equipment in the room for Rachel's next operation. As the last candle goes out and the world is dark.
Real quick, so I started helping.
All of you did. The people that were all helping Rachel, the
with the
people,
operation. Is
all-
that what I heard?
you're kind of starting to prepare some of the medical equipment in the room for her.
Dang, that is a lot freaking better than what I was planning on doing.
Yeah, no, the way I was kind of running that was all the people that would disappear or be killed were all kind of coming back as these shades helping Rachel.
Yeah.
Ah,
So the world is dark and we're in an eternal hospital ghost loop?
yeah, you're
guess.
all helping Rachel until you need to go find someplace else to look for the next person that needs her assistance.
In a way, Lily didn't die more so as like wake up almost.
Yeah, kind of. That's how I was trying to spin it.
Yeah. And I'll explain this later if you guys want to stick around after the stream. What I was planning on doing was
Well, what were you planning on doing? Go ahead while we're still
So
on.
why not? So first things first, since the game's over, my brink was they have seen you hide in the darkness with your friends, cowering where running would be best. And since there was no possible way I could spin that into the situation now,
I mean,
I
that was
thought,
literally
you know
what you were
what?
doing for a minute.
That's kind of
Yeah.
what you were doing. You were role playing your brink without rolling your brink.
Pretty much.
I
That's
love
pretty
it.
much what I thought. Yeah, I like doing that too. It was fun.
I
What
love
I
that.
what I was planning on doing until Silent did the whole thing with Rachel is I was planning on getting out of the cabinet and standing staring down Sean with the scalpel in my hand. But what I was planning on doing is I wasn't going to confront Sean. No. I was actually planning on saying something along the lines of, "You have killed them, but you're not going to get me," and then proceeding to carve my own throat out, ending my death like that.
Wow, running back to Dead Radio ending.
Pretty much, almost. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I was going for somewhat.
Man, I still gotta watch that.
But as soon... Oh, I highly recommend anyone who hasn't seen it go watch Dead Radio. It is a very good one, actually. It got me in... I pretty much binge-watched the whole thing the same day.
Yeah, I hear Adrift was pretty good too.
Yeah, Drift was... Yeah, there's some dude named Taylor in it. I don't know who that is, but...
he plays this really self-sacrificing character. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like he's a very attractive and good role player type of person.
Yeah.
This one, honestly, it also kind of... I was gonna say, this story with the ending with Lily kind of also brought vibes from the I forget what the module name was. The first game I ran with Hound's character, who was dead from the very beginning.
Oh, I have yet to watch that one.
Oh boy, go watch it. It doesn't get, I don't think, fully explained in the video, but the whole thing I was spinning was her character was one of the two children. It was kind of like a late teens, early 20s, college age embodiment of one of the two children that had burned to death in the cabin's fire years and years ago, and would continually bring people would make people think that they knew her, that she was their friend and whatnot, and would bring them on this vacation to this cabin where the people would eventually perish and join her, and the kind of collective that now embodied this house.
Just one other thing about this particular module, though, going back, and if you just look at all the truths, you almost get the vibe that Lily was behind it, like it all originated with her. Like Rachel was Lily's imaginary friend. Throughout the whole entire thing, you were hearing a younger Lily singing creepy songs and all that other shit. And it's interesting.
Yeah, as soon as I forget which act it was that it came in, which scene's truth it was, but as soon as the truth got put in that scene at the end of the fifth candle, when you guys said Rachel will not harm them, I was like, all right, that's how Lily's gonna go out. That's kind of where I first came up with that idea for how Lily just passed on. That's kind of where I was like, all right, that's gonna be how it ends.
But damn, was that ending freaking creepy and goosebumps. I mean, holy hell.
That scene is just 3 cigarettes, 1 frozen solid, 1 burnt to a crisp, and 1 just burnt out.
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
And
Yep.
one was just hugging the enemy pretty much and joining them and preparing.
I was on the side the whole time.
I mean, to be fair, I kind of hugged the enemy while I was on fire.
Yeah.
It was a hot,
holy
passionate
crap.
hug.
Yes, real hot, steamy stuff going on in this stream.
Not safe for work. Not safe for work. I apologize to anyone who would be listening to this during work, and if it's on speaker, we are not responsible for any trouble you get into.
But folks, that is going to wrap up this year's Halloween session of 10 Candles. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I do want to give a big thank you and shout out to the other people who are all the players in the game. Obviously, Illiren, Taylor, Kitsune, thank you very much for joining me. This was as much your story as it was mine. So thank you for helping me make this such an awesome narrative tale.